Hey YouTube, it's your girl Chic from Chic Say What. Welcome to the party. Welcome, Starlights. Listen. We're gonna get into it this beautiful Sunday. Chris Brown is our man of the hour. We're gonna talk about him. Today I came across this news clip where there was this organization, or I guess company, investor company, whatever you call them, in Houston are like, yo, we paid C Breezy like over $1 million to come and perform at this charity event to raise money for people who lost their homes in hurricanes. And bruh was a no-show. Like, so we got a whole problem with that. He out here frauding the people. So I'm like, Lord Jesus. So I had to go ahead and go down that rabbit hole and just investigate this. And I kind of, I learned a good bit of information because I don't live in Houston. I live in Georgia and Metro Atlanta. So I'm just right outside the city of Atlanta. So this was news to me, about him having this show in Houston. But people, if any of you are from Texas or Houston area, you may have very well been aware of this concert. So we're going to get into it. Please, as you come in, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when I go live and you won't miss my lives. But I came across this advertisement. If you see on my screen, I've shared my screen. And this was the, I guess, the flyer that was put out there to advertise the show. Looks like it was going to be at the Toyota Center. I'll take it, that's the name of the local arena out in Houston, Texas. And it reads, presented by DML, RE Icon in conjunction with HOB Entertainment. Saturday, March 19, 2022. One night only concert, Bryce featuring Chris Brown, Bryson Tiller, and Monica. So I'm like, okay. So I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna show the news clip that I saw, and they kind of, again, we're just getting one side from the news clip. We're getting one side of the story. And it looks like that news clip came out in like July or earlier this month. Or a couple of weeks ago, actually, been a couple of weeks. But since then, Chris Brown kind of has responded within the last few days to try to, clear his name and give his side of the story. And as they say, there's three sides: your side, their side, and the truth. So we're going to go ahead and get into first their side of the story. Since they went to the news, they went to the press, and they're like, yo, what we're not going to do is let this man walk away with over $1 million for a show that we paid for. And he not really give us reasons outlined in the contract that adhere to him being able to, or that a warrant for him to be able to kind of just cancel the show. So listen, these people, they had a lot to say now. They had a lot to say. So let me share my screen so we can get into it, so we can hear what they had said, what the people in Houston had said about C Breezy. So we're jumping over here to hiphopdx.com. And this article is dated July 27, 2022. It says Chris Brown sets the record straight on Houston charity event show. So y'all, I hadn't heard about this as far as being in the media. So this had been on Rats. I hadn't seen anybody, that I follow on YouTube or anything as far as with covering this story. So I don't really know how much traction it got, but it did make the local news in Houston. So we're going to get into it and see what they had to say about, Chris Brown and this situation. So let's get a little bit into this article before we go to the news clip. It says Chris Brown looks like he might be making good on a messy situation involving him and allegedly pulling out of a benefits concert in Houston, Texas back in March. So let's play this video. Fair use.
The reason for that is so that we can raise money for all of the victims that have had hurricane problems that didn't get any help, like from Red Cross or Baker Hughes or any of those type of entities, and their houses have still been left in shambles, basically. So, with the help of our community activist, Sandra Hines, we got together last year, and my husband, Brian Smith, so that we can figure out what we needed to do. Hurricane Ida came through and destroyed Louisiana. Then, right after that, we had Hurricane Nicholas, where we're actually building homes right now. We had problems there. So, I reached out to Chris Brown's camp and asked them, is there any way that you can do a benefit concert for us? They agreed. I sent them their deposit, I sent them a travel buyout, and I sent them their back end several days prior to him coming to Houston. We had a reschedule due to Travis Scott's problem. We had a reschedule because it was normally it was supposed to be November 21st. We rescheduled to March the 19th. Chris Brown's camp, they canceled during our sound check, which left me with a lot of hardship, a financial hardship, and it left all the people that were depending on me to have the rehabilitation of their homes without that happening, because he has in excess of $1 million that I spent just to get him here. So my plea right now is to ask Chris and his management or whoever is responsible for that money. We have spoken with the police. They have subpoenaed his records. They found out the wires that we sent and the deposits that we gave him prior to him showing up, that he is a signer on that account. So it's not like he doesn't know that he was supposed to be here. Everyone rallied around me. My people from the city, State Representative Ron Reynolds, because we were trying to do a good thing for our citizens, for Houston and Southeast Texas and our sister state, Louisiana. And we're just asking that he please send us that money back.
Thank you so much. As you can see, Ms. Bailey has experienced at a minimum a loss of $1.1 million dollars and a maximum of $2 million. And we are here in front of the Live Nation building today so that we can send a message to Live Nation too about Chris Brown and the fact that there is a tour scheduled to come through Houston and do exactly what she was intending to do as a philanthropic effort for hurricane victims. And we want to send a message to Live Nation concerning the artists that they have their brand and their name behind. So next to put emphasis on what we are attempting to do for Miss Bailey, we have Miss Sandra Massey Hines, who is the honorary mayor of Sunnyside and also one of the most well-known community activists in Houston and around this country. Go ahead, Ms. Hines.
Good afternoon, and thank each of you for being here to hear our cry. When I think of this situation, I think of it as being deceptive, a fraud, hoodwink, and bamboozled. Our intentions were after the Hurricane Harvey, after the winter freeze, after the other storms that came up, was to see what we could do to help the community, both in Texas and in Louisiana. I'm thankful to God that DLM and that team came to me and said they wanted to help with what we were already doing. We were collecting baby items, food and water, blankets. They offered, if we had people that were misplaced, and we did, both in Texas and Louisiana, they offered to help build or correct houses that were damages and land to get those people back on their feet. They had some money, but they were trying to get more. They didn't have enough for the 35 houses they targeted. We worked along with churches, the community. We worked along with Congresswoman Lee and others to try and get the items we need from the community. And the rest would be done by DLM and their team of home builders, not just volunteers, home builders. They wanted to build 35 homes. I'm still getting calls from Louisiana where people still have not received help. So, anyway, we're here today to tell Chris Brown, do the right thing. I have honors and certificates for you and for Monica and Bryson Tillman and others that would have gone to those artists had you done right. Some of these Representatives standing here, Councilmember Shabazz, State Representative Ron Reynolds, the Mayor, Congresswoman Lee, others gave certificates to say thank you ahead of time, and you were a no-show. And I'm understanding he was on the internet saying it's not going to be a show because I'm not coming. Well, God bless you, Chris Brown, and I hope in the end you do the right thing. That's all we're asking. Thank you.
And now we will hear from Representative Ron Reynolds.
Thank you. And I think that Ms. Bailey and the Mayor Sunnyside, Sandra Massey Hines, have really laid out the facts. There was a benefit concert that Ms. Bailey was going to do to help many people that were indigent, that were displaced, families in need. And they gave Chris Brown $1.1 million to secure his appearance at the Toyota Center on the contracted date. And at the last minute, without any prior notice, he pulled the rug up from under them and canceled the show. There were people that, like my daughter, who were so excited to go to see Chris Brown. But the most important thing, it was a benefit concert. So not only was he going to receive a great amount for his pockets, but the most important thing was it was going to be able to give back to the community. And I'm so happy that Carolyn Evans Shabazz is here from the city of Houston because we're here today on 713 Day in Houston. And we're here today to tell Chris Brown that you don't mess with Texas. I am a state representative and I'm proud that Ms. Bailey is my constituent. And I don't know about how it works in New York or California or any other place in the country, but you don't come in our backyard in Texas. You don't come to H-Town in Houston, where we are, if you say you're going to do something, and then you have a contract, so not only is it just your word, but it's a contract, then you don't renege on it without even the benefit of returning the $1.1 million that she paid you. So not only did you not come, not only did you let down people, as Ms. Hines has stated, but you actually stole, because you didn't perform the service, $1.1 million and then had her out of pocket $1.9 million for the other performers and to bring on the show. So I'm here today with Dr. Shabazz, with Mayor Hines, and with Ms. Bailey and other concerned citizens, calling on Chris Brown to do the right thing, to return the money where it rightfully deserves back to Ms. Bailey. You didn't perform, you didn't earn the funds, and we're here to let you know that we won't let this happen in our backyard. So again, we stand in solidarity and we ask you to do the right thing. Thank you.
Next, we will hear from Honorable Dr. Carolyn Evans Shabazz, who is a council member, Houston City Council. She is representing D, also known as Third Ward, Texas. So,
A little bit wider than that.
a little bit broader than that. But we will hear from her, and we know that we're gonna. This final word is where we're gonna give the word.
Thank you so very, very much. You know, not only is it hot out here, it is a day, hopefully, of reckoning, where Chris Brown will realize that at some point in his life, he needs to take accountability for his actions. I have followed him through my niece, who has loved him for years, and she was certainly disappointed that this concert did not take place. But as a council member, and certainly as a human being, my concern is for those that needed and still need these funds. If anyone knows the history, there's been a great deal of difficulty for people to be put back on their feet because of these disasters. And so he had a certain opportunity to be able to do the right thing, and he still can do that from this day forward, because we can't really talk about what we did in the past, but we can move forward and do it in a manner that shows integrity. So I stand with Ms. Bailey. And I don't know about you, but 1.9 million is a lot of money, especially for a regular citizen who is trying to do something for the community. And for him to arrogantly go on Twitter and say, I'm not coming after receiving the money is not only unconscionable and not acceptable, it's deplorable. And so I thank State Representative Ron Reynolds. I certainly thank the mayor, Sandra Hines, for standing here. And this is not going to be the end. And I want to make it clear, this is not against Live Nation. But we are asking Live Nation to perhaps intervene to be able to get Chris Brown to do the right thing, because he does have a concert coming up, and they can perhaps negotiate that which Miss Bailey has lost for him to give it back. And that really is the bottom line. Give it back, we move on, and then, of course, we won't try to do anything to stop your future on your tour. But best believe that this is not acceptable, and we want the citizens of Houston to know that what he did was not against just one person. And I say, there by the grace of God go I. At some point, I may need someone to help me to be able to get back on my feet. And to know that there's someone that had the ability to do so, and not only did they not do it, they took advantage of someone, and they took advantage of the citizens of Houston, Texas. And that is not acceptable. So thank you very much for allowing me to come and speak and stand in support. And we're going to just pray that he will do the right thing, because we don't want to tie this up. It can get tied up, but we certainly hope that you will have a conscience, make a conscious decision to do the right thing, Mr. Chris Brown. Thank you.
That will conclude the press conference. We will have one final word from Ms. Bailey. Again, I'd like to thank you all for coming out. Again, we're here. Chris Brown is scheduled and signed up and contracted to tour with Live Nation over our sister, who has already spent $2 million for him to tour with her. And so we do not intend to walk lightly or silently here. Just as publicly as you said you'd be here, that's how public we're going to be about making sure that you honor your commitment, just as Ms. Bailey honored her commitment. So as Representative Ron Reynolds said, today is 713 Day. We don't do that in H-Town, okay? So on today, we commemorate the fact that we stand in solidarity with Ms. Baylor and any other promoter against any person, like he said, that comes here to do us harm and who will not serve justice to individuals who need it, who are part of a disaster situation. They need help. And she said she's got people waiting on housing, and that housing was to be funded by her effort. So, Chris, I know you're listening. I have worked in the industry for years. I've never seen this happen before. And this won't be the first time. We will remedy this, okay? So let us hear from Ms. Bailey. You all spread the word. As you can see, we are not going to move away from this situation quietly. We will not be silenced by anyone, not anybody. So I'm going to give Ms. Bailey an opportunity to say her final words concerning this, but you can rest assured, if this is not remedied, this will not be the last time that you hear from us, from her, and it is not the last time that you'll hear from us. All right, thank you.
Again, I want to thank everybody for coming out, especially all of my elected officials, everyone in my family, and our other partner here that was joined in with us to make this happen. And I want to tell the people out there who are sending the letters that still need help. We have people here that are at the press conference that I've actually helped and gotten their fences up or houses restored, that I'm not going to stop. Even though Chris has done this, I'm still trying to make a way to accommodate you in the 35 houses that we committed that were destroyed by either Hurricane Ida, Hurricane Harvey, Hurricane Nicholas, or however. We just have, it's hurricane season again. So I don't even know what's coming up soon. But we still want to do what I set out to do. And I just plead to Chris Brown, to Anthony Wilson, to Boubacar Diallo, and Matt Kamen, the attorney, all of the people, and Live Nation, all of you that had any hand in this concert that was canceled last minute. And they know who they are, they know what they did, and they know what kind of position that they put us in. Please find deep down in your soul and in your heart and refund our money so that we can continue to do and help our people in our city. And that's what I have to say. Thank you so much.
Can I ask you a few questions? So
Come on. Go ahead. Sure. Go ahead.
Okay. The concert was probably supposed to start at 7 or 8 on Saturday night, right?
Yes.
What time did he cancel?
Oh, like between two and 3 o'clock.
So on the day.
Oh, for sure. During sound check.
What reason did
We don't have a reason. What he did is he posted on his Instagram and basically said, Houston, I will not be performing tonight, but you can catch me while I'm on tour officially. Like our show wasn't official. And we've been carrying this show for 6 or 7 months now because it was rescheduled, from last November. So from November 21st to March the 19th, we were all, there. Everybody had flown in. People are coming in for sound check, everything. And it's an extensive amount of money that was spent in order to make this happen. So I didn't just go and get a GoFundMe and ask people, hey, just donate to my GoFundMe. I said, what I'll do is I'll throw the concert, we'll raise money so that people can get something for the money that they're spending. We can raise it and help the people who actually need it. So if he doesn't show up, of course, this is going to be a problem. And then we don't have a way just to resolve it with 4 hours. You understand? That's it.
So did you guys first find out about it from Instagram? Or have they contacted? What happened first? Did you post on Instagram or did they call you guys and let you know?
People were calling. It was posted on Instagram. We were in the Toyota Center moving around, so I'm not looking at my phone like that. So everything, pandemonium. That's pretty much. But we were doing sound check, and that's when we were notified of everything because everybody was there. And the Toyota Center came and showed it to me on the Instagram. And I'm like, yes.
Was he even in Houston, do you know?
I don't know I don't know if he was in Houston or not. Oh, yes. But the private jet we did pay for last year. So there would be no reason. Everything that had to do with Chris Brown was paid in full. All of his accommodations. Yes, everything. Yeah, the technical, the hospitality, deposit, back end, travel buyout, all of that was taken care of. So we don't have a reason on paper or anything as to why he did not come on that day. Right. There are stipulations in the contract that say what is supposed to happen if either one of us canceled. That has not happened, which is why we're here today. Yeah. So.
Did the jet make it here with him on it? Do you know?
I don't know. I was in sound check. He wasn't there.
What's the total dollar amount that you're out?
It's about, completely, I would say between 1.8, 1.9, completely.
Is it money out of your pocket?
Of course. We didn't have sponsors. Our sponsors backed out once he had some issues come in January. I know everybody in the world knows about it with the girls coming back with the drugs and the grapes and then all that other kind of stuff, and our sponsors start falling all off. So yes, it's all on us now.
So out of
DML, yes, and HOB Entertainment.
Okay, is there someone else? Anyone else? Any more questions? Okay, well, thank you all. I appreciate you coming. We have the press release out. You can pick it up, and we'll look for all of the post press. We'll be tagging you all. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Child, so listen, them people's like, we done paid for that man to come and do this show. We had his flight in place. We had his hotel in place. We had we had sound check. Like everything was in place. Everybody was there, but Chris Brown, C Breezy, they were not here for that. So I'm like, okay, well, what does Chris have to say? Because, based on that press conference, they're saying like, oh, he hasn't given us really explanation. We just saw 4 hours before the show that he posted on his socials that I'm not coming. Y'all stay tuned. I got a tour, which I happen to be. I have tickets. I'm in it, like I said, Metro Atlanta. So I will be in the house for the concert with C Breezy, Chris Brown, and little baby on that's August 10th. So I've done a couple of videos pertaining to Chris Brown. So that's why I say he's the man of the hour. There's been a lot going on with him. And when she talked about earlier this year with those rape charges, she's right, because I think I did a video earlier this year on him and I think Trey Songz, where women were coming out alleging sexual assault against them. So apparently, I guess the original concert date was back in November. And then due to the weather and things like that, they couldn't put it on then. So then it had to be put on, moved to 2022. And in January, when those allegations and things start coming about, because like I said, I covered that. You can check out some of my older videos, but I covered that when a woman came out stating that she was sexually assaulted by Chris Brown, which, he ended up being vindicated not long after that. But as this woman said, prior to that, like sponsors started kind of just pulling out. So, which is understandable. They're like, no, we trying to stay away from this. So this woman is saying, her company, they had to kind of just foot the entire cost, but they're like, hey, it's an investment. We'll make up the money from the profits that we will make from the charity concert, the charity event. So makes sense. So I got to kind of searching and I'm like, man, I can't see why Chris Brown, somebody ain't said something about this. So lo and behold, I did come across an article in regards to Chris Brown's response and, his reason for, why he backed out. So I'm like, cool. So let's jump over here, y'all, because, over here, we equal opportunities, we fair. We want to, we want to show all sides, whatever we can find. So I did find an article that talks about, Chris Brown and his response to what's going on. And this was as of recently, because remember, like this news clip that I showed you, this was like mid-July, maybe around July 17th or something like that. So this article that I'm showing you right now is July 8th, and this is his response. So this is from showbiz.com. So it reads, R&B crooner who was supposed to perform at one night only benefit concert reportedly backed out of the gig because Bryson Tiller was removed from the lineup. So I'm like, wait a minute. When they did this press conference, they mentioned Bryson Tiller's name and Monica's name. But I thought initially, like when I was hearing it the first time, that they mentioned Bryson Tiller as a name of like somebody we could have gotten, if Chris Brown wasn't going to do it, but, I listened to it the second time of me listening to it when I just played it on this live. And so I got to hear it like a second time. So I'm like, okay, so I was getting a better understanding of what was going on here. So apparently Bryson Tiller and Monica were a part of this same concert with Chris Brown. So, but as we see, Chris Brown's like, yo, Bryson Tiller was removed. So let's see what this article has to say. So Showbiz, Chris Brown has responded to allegations about him canceling a Houston benefit concert at last minute, having been slammed by event organizer LaJuan Bailey for bailing on the show on the March 19th show. The singer finally set the record straight. Sources close to Chris told TMZ that his legal team allegedly sent an email to event organizers on March 17th. So that was 2 days prior to the show, noting that he didn't want to perform because Bryson Tiller was removed from the lineup. Bryson's removal reportedly violated a clause in the contract. So I then started to kind of research to see, okay, did Bryson Tiller have anything out there pertaining to putting on a concert or anything like that? Nothing. What I came across, it just showed, which might still have that site up. Bryson Tiller at that time, it was just showing no concerts scheduled for this year. So I'm like, yo, okay. So when they did the press conference, they didn't mention anything about anybody else backing out of the show. It was as though, okay, when Chris backed out the show, he impacted, it was like a domino effect of just how things just started going like downhill because, okay, now Bryson Tiller couldn't participate in concert anymore. Monica, the community, the people, like they were like, all these people were impacted as a result of Chris Brown not handling his business or adhering to the contracts that they had in place. So this is what, LaJuan Bailey is alleging, as we saw in this press conference, along with, so there was some other people there in the community that were there to support, that also, expressed their sentiments about how they felt and how they were just very disappointed in Chris Brown for not coming through, but not only for him not coming through, but not offering to refund or give them back their money due to the services not being provided. So again, let's carry on with this article. The insiders went on to note that both Chris and organizers, quote, have been in negotiations to settle the issue. It was unveiled that the Nowhere Crooner offered to make a 6-figure donation to a Houston-based charity, but no agreement has been made yet. So they're like, okay, yeah, they got up there, they did the press conference, but they didn't mention the part as to, okay, how Chris said he can try to, I don't know if you want to say make it right, but do something. And his something was make a 6-figure donation. So I don't know if maybe that wasn't mentioned because they didn't feel like that was enough in comparison to the nearly $2 million investment on him. Because they were like, yo, just in this man alone, we invested about $1.1 million. And then the rest of the monies was just other things associated with him that they had to pay out money. So, they said that was upwards of $1.8, $1.9 million, and money's gone. As we heard them, they were like, yo, in sound check is when they learned the concert was off. So my thing is, if there is a communication or email that was sent out wherever, that's a paper trail that's out there that went to somebody. Now, it said the email was sent to event organizers. My thoughts is an event organizer would have been LaJuan, LaJuan Bailey. She would have been should have been on that email, as well as, I guess, what do you call it? The location where the concert, was taking place. I would imagine, they would have been a key play. What is that? They're called the Toyota Center, So how there's layers of people that I guess somehow the memo that should have gotten, there's multiple people that should have basically been on this email. So for this woman to be up here saying, yo, like, we didn't know nothing until like the day of when there was a post, like, what happened? How did the communication, did LaJuan Bailey not receive this communication when it should have gone to like multiple people who had their hands? Like, what is the odds of like minimum 3 to 5 people being on this email and nobody getting the email or sharing it? I don't know. It's just a whole just suspect situation altogether. So sources, let me see what else it says. The article goes on to say LaJuan previously claimed in court documents that she and her company, DML Real Estate Investors and Construction, booked the R&B singer to perform at the one night only benefit concert to raise money for Houston and Louisiana residents whose homes were damaged by the Hurricane Ida and Nicholas in 2021. She claimed she paid $1.1 million for Chris fee, accommodation, and private plane requests, but he didn't refund it despite not showing up. Quote, I acted in good faith and sponsored this concert out of love and respect for residents in need, LaJuan said. I am appalled that Chris refuses to refund my money for a show he did not appear to after we announced our show and sold tickets. At this point, it is my humble belief that Chris Brown's actions are parallel to pure theft. She continued, he has the unmitigated gall to take my money, stand up the residents of Houston, then return to the city to perform on August 17th. My message to Chris Brown, we will not sit back and allow you to disrespect the victims of Hurricane Ida and Nicholas in need. Child, like listen, I guess they are still in talks, but I feel like this can definitely end up going to court if they do not come to an agreement, if they do not come to that agreement with that, the 6-figure amount that's, according to the article we read that from Chris Brown's camp that they offered. They said it wasn't mentioned in that news interview. and that Luana and her team haven't gotten back to them to let them know if they were going to accept. They just kind of waiting. But the thing I did find interesting, and when I was watching the video, I seen some people found interesting, they didn't have any legal representation there at the press conference. And so I'm not quite sure what's that about, why at that point you're out of this money and you got all these activists and people in the community. I'm just curious to know, why wouldn't they had a PR person, but why wouldn't they have had I guess legal representation present? Because my thing is, I guess, to me, having representation of legal representation would have said, hey, an attorney have gone through this contract, they have seen evidence, signs of violation or breach of contract, this man is in a wrong, like all of that. But they didn't really have anybody from like a legal's perspective to kind of co-sign for them. It was more so people just expressing their opinions, sentiments about the situation, which is fine. But to me, we're dealing with a lot of money. Chris Brown is a big name. I think it would have maybe been viewed differently, or maybe even taken more serious by just the public. Like I said, I didn't hear anybody talking about this had there been legal representation there. So I just definitely would be curious to know what was made up in this what was the terms of this in this concert, to where Chris Brown, with him having such a big name, backing out the way he did. I feel like because the way he moved in a way that he felt like he could, because he got a big name, like they pointed out, he had legal issues going on earlier this year. It doesn't make sense why he would have just backed out like that and put his name on the line. And especially when you have you're trying to go, you got plans to do some things, like you don't want to mess up your name. So also, like I said, with the Bryson Tiller situation, I'm curious to know, why did Bryson Tiller back out? Because Chris Brown's like, yo, I mean, me sticking around in this show, it just kind of would have left it all on me. And the deal was, okay, Bryson Tiller being a part of the situation along with myself. It seemed like Monica was still in there till the end. She was kind of like the last man standing, which was the last woman, but she was the last person standing. But like, I'm curious, like, why wasn't Bryson Tiller's name mentioned, as far as like, okay, well, Bryson Tiller had backed out. It's like they didn't have any issue with Bryson Tiller backing out of the concert. So I want to also jump over to, I guess, the post from the Toyota Center when the concert was canceled, because they talked about Chris Brown had posted on his social media, on his Instagram, that he wasn't going to be in town during the concert and things like that. But I went to his Instagram page and looked around that time of postings, and I didn't see anything around March of 2022 where he posted about not showing up to the concert or anything like that. So I don't know if he removed it, but I didn't see anything. But I did come across the post by the Toyota Center, which was back in like March. So I want to kind of get into that to show, what was said, on that day in regards to the cancellation of this concert, where they say this kind of like came out on the day of. Like, y'all, can you imagine the embarrassment, the shame? Like, you've put on the show, you're excited about it, you got people in place, and like you ready, you like, yo, we finna do the doggone thing. We got see Breezy coming in town. We finna make some money for these people, to start, building their lives. And like, and then you now you running around, doing sound check, doing whatever, and then somebody come tap you on the shoulder. Yes, Miss Bailey. It seems like, the show may not be going on. Chris Brown, like, can you imagine, child? Listen. So let's get into this post that the Toyota Center posted on March 19th, which was the date that the concert was supposed to take place. Again, why this this venue wouldn't have even known. Like I said, I would imagine someone there should have been CC'd on that email as well. So so the post reads, so this is Toyota Center, this is their Instagram page. Unfortunately, the event organizer has had to cancel Chris Brown's Houston show with Monica and Friends tonight, March 19th, at the Toyota Center. All ticket purchasers who purchase tickets through toyotacenter.com or the venue box office will be issued a refund in the same manner in which the original ticket order was placed. Credit card purchases will automatically be refunded to the credit card used to make the original purchase. Please allow 30 business days for the refund to appear on your account. Thank you for your understanding. We hope to see you at Toyota Center soon. So let's look at these comments. So somebody laughing, somebody saying, anybody got their refund? Somebody saying, where the F my refund at? Somebody said, who's going to beat up all the women now? Somebody said, Chris Brown decided to not get on the plane. All the other acts showed up. With him being the main act, the show couldn't move forward. It's not the Toyota Center. It's not the promoters. You can ask Chris why he was the only one not to show and waited just hours before the show to inform anyone. So y'all remember, Chris Brown said he backed out because Bryson Tiller backed out. I browsed the net. I didn't see anything about Bryson Tiller backing out of anything. I didn't see anything about Bryson Tiller other than, only connection I seen with Bryson Tiller with this concert was just the advertisement. I didn't see anything pertaining to him backing out prior to March 19th or him making a statement or anything since March 19th. So, but like I said, they said that Chris Brown made an offer to do a donation to the people. So my thing is, if Chris Brown was in his rights to move in the manner in which he did, why is Chris offering to make a 6-figure donation to kind of fix things? To me, that's operating from a place of, yeah, I guess I could have done something differently. So let me just give you this because I don't know. That's what I'm saying, because a lot of times, more often than not, people who just start kind of ready to go in the pocket to fix stuff, people look at them as like guilty, especially when they even go to court. They're not even like in litigation. This is just kind of them trying to work things out. So it's just not looking good. And these people with the energy that I felt at the news conference that we watched, and if you join the live late, just definitely rewind, start over from the beginning with this live and just really see that, these people are upset. And if they're saying that he made an offer for a 6-figure, that don't to me sound like they gonna be good with that. If they talking about that they was out of almost $2 million. So 6 figures, y'all, that's going up to $900,000. That's not even, we haven't even hit the halfway mark yet to the money in which they're saying that they spent. I don't see these people being good unless they get maybe at least 1.5 million, probably a million, but it's gonna have to definitely have sevens. What it say? It's gonna have to be in the millions. It's gonna have to be in the millions. So someone says, if you use Access to purchase tickets, gonna file a dispute. I'm reading reviews and it appears they never answer phones, and I've been on hold on 2 phones for over an hour. Somebody said, well, if you got a hotel or flight, I hope you was smart and got insurance so you can get that refund. They're only responsible for your ticket money. And guys, come on now, stop asking dumb questions. Listen, like I said, it's a domino effect. Many people were impacted by this. So I feel like if they don't come right with that bottom line number, this could definitely very well go to court. And, within court, there may be, they may be able to settle. But baby, like Miss LaWanda Bailey was like, no, she seemed like she want all her money, probably then some, just for the inconvenience. So really, she don't look like one that's probably going to be, she don't look like one that's probably going to be good with just getting just the money she's lost at this point. Cause she's like, yo, this is just too much at this point. Like, if we got, especially if we got to go to court. She might be willing to get our money just now, but like if they got to go to court, y'all know how that go. You got attorney fees tacked on that, all kinds of other stuff, just for convenience. Okay, I had to take time out my day to do this, that, and y'all know how that go when you go to court. So it become a whole nother thing. So I'm gonna continue to keep my ear out to the streets on this one to see what comes of it. So like I said, people are silent on this one for whatever reason. But listen, they don't be this silent when it comes to him and some alleged sexual assault charges. So I don't know what the deal is, why they kind of silent on this one. But like I said, I will be in the house for his August 10th concert with Lil Baby. So I am definitely interested to see how that's going to turn out. He's been posting on his Instagram. Let's jump over before I end this live. Jump over to his Instagram. I want to see how things are going on this concert, what I can expect. I'm looking forward to going. I'm going with my sisters, and I'm looking forward to just being in the house, enjoying some good music with good company. Period. Like, listen, he said, it's Chris Brown. He posted 8 hours ago. Michigan was amazing. Thank y'all so much. I will say, looking at this, he definitely looks healthier because, like I said, I saw the last concert I saw him. He looked really tight, really skinny. But to me, his face looks more full. Like he definitely looks better than what he put a good concert on when I seen him some years back. Maybe it's like 2018, 2019, maybe. I just know he was really thin. He was really thin, but he did put on a great show. But he does look better here. So I'm looking forward to him putting on another great show. Hopefully he can fix this and make it right. And listen, these people, they always say have stuff and right and have a concert. Look like they did, but they claiming like, listen, he didn't uphold to his part or whatever. So we gonna see what happens. Y'all let me know your thoughts. Definitely leave a comment. Share the live. I want to know what y'all think. Are y'all like, nah, people just coming for Chris? Like I've seen in some comments, people feeling like, no, every time this man trying to come out and do something positive, people trying to come on the scene and just overshadow it with negative. There has been negative light on this man's name this year. So I see why people say that. But in this situation, if there's what they say, the contract, it ain't gonna lie. If it's in writing, that is what it is. That is what it is. So this may very well go to court. It may very well. And if it needs to, so be it. So be it. As I say, with these artists, I can separate, the appreciation for their gift, their craft from how they move in their personal life, and that goes even with Chris. I rock with his music, but kind of stops there for me, right there when it comes to Chris Brown. I just really like his music, but I can leave the other parts, but I'm here for his music. I'm here for the concert. So let me know your thoughts. Please like, share, subscribe, and make sure your notification bell is on. Because as I say, we real random over here, but we definitely get into it. We get into all things that celebrity, YouTubers, gossip, anything that's hot, we're going to get into it. We get into those things that people really, aren't talking about, like this situation. So let me know your thoughts, and I will drop the links in the description for some of these areas where we got this tea from. And I will catch you on the next broadcast. Peace.